talking some.
Welcome and good evening. Today is Tuesday, November 18th, 2025, and the time is 6 p.m. I will now call the regular meeting. The following will come to order. The Victorville City Council and the same council sitting as the Victorville Library Board of Trustees, the Southern California Logistics Airport Authority, successor agency to the Redevelopment Agency, the city as a housing asset successor, Joint Powers Finance Authority, and the Victorville Water District. Madam Clerk, will you kindly call the roll?
Councilmember Godian?
Yes.
Councilmember Irving?
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Harriman?
Here.
Mayor Becerra?
Here.
We have quorum.
Thank you. At this time, our invocation will be led by Pastor Lewis Bush from Zion Lewis Lutheran Church, and our pledge will be led by Captain Jerry Davenport. If you would stand, please.
Thank you for this privilege. Let us pray. O holy God, we pause this night within the bounds of the liberty with which you have blessed us to acknowledge you and to acknowledge and to ask for your help and guidance as we order our common lives together. To this end, O Lord, we ask that you would keep our nation under your care and bless our leaders with compassionate hearts and wise minds, so that we may be a people at peace among ourselves and a blessing to other nations of the earth. We also ask that you would help us as citizens to elect honorable and trustworthy individuals to represent us and to lead us so that we may honor the great heritage we have received. Finally, O God, this night, we lift up to you the business of our city. Guide and direct the members of the council so that the discussions and decisions made this evening may be a blessing to our community. This we ask, O holy God, in your gracious name. Amen.
Amen. Please place your hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, will you present the agenda and any revisions there too?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. There are no revisions to the agenda this evening.
Thank you very much. At this time, we'll move on to public comments. Madam Clerk, are there any requests to speak?
I have no speaker cards, Madam Mayor.
Thank you very much. Our first business of order tonight is the consent calendar, items 1 through 13. I invite a motion for this item?
Madam Mayor, I move that we adopt the consent calendar.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
There we go. I have a first by Councilmember Irving, a second by Councilmember Godian. Madam Clerk, will you take the vote, please?
Councilmember Godam,
Yes.
Councilmember Irving.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Harriman,
Yes.
Mayor Becerra.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
We've now taken action on items 1 through 13 in accordance with the recommendations set forth on the agenda. Item 14, written communications. Sheriff's Department Schedule A amendment for law enforcement contract 94-909-A-55. Mr. Metzler, would you kindly introduce this item?
Thank you, Madam Mayor and members of the council. As you're aware, we've relied on the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department to provide law enforcement services here in the city of Victorville. And we do so as it's memorialized through a contract amended Schedule A document. And we did approve a Schedule A for the level of service currently offered to the residents earlier this year and prior to the adoption of our budget. However, at that time, we did know that the labor group representing the Sheriff's Department deputies was still in negotiation, and the impacts of the negotiation involving the department and SEBA weren't known at that time. We did, in fact, believe that there would be an impact to the overall cost of service. So as a part of our budget, we actually did budget an amount higher, just guesstimating what the cost would be. We did budget 10% over our prior year contract. And so with that, this item is amending, memorializing the results of that negotiation between the department and SEBA, recognizing about a 6.3 cost increase from the current contract to the new contract. So with that, no additional appropriation is necessary on the expense side. There is an additional revenue appropriation on the revenue side, since we do contract out or provide extended services to the Mall of Victor Valley along with the Victor Elementary School District. And so we'll actually pass along their proportionate cost increases and treat those as revenues to us. And with that, this effectively amends the contract, memorializing in the changes in the cost of service. And so with that, I am the author on the item, but certainly I rely on help, that of Deputy City Manager Tony Camargo, along with Sheriff Captain Jerry Davenport. We're all available for any questions or comments you might have.
Thank you, sir. Madam Clerk, would you please read the recommendation?
That the Honorable City Council approve the 55th Amendment to Law Enforcement Contract number 94-909-A-55 for the period of July 1, 2025 through June 30th, 2026, and authorize the mayor or her designee to process all documents required for this agreement and adopt resolution number 25-080, amending the annual budget for fiscal year 2025-2026 to reflect additional revenues.
Thank you, ma'am. At this time, we'll do technical questions from council member. We'll start with Councilmember Godam.
I have none, thank you.
Councilmember Irving.
No questions. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Mayor Pro Tem Harriman.
I have none.
And I'm sorry, Mr. Metzler, I do have a question. 288, and I should have caught this during our agenda review. What does it mean by a clear salary step realignment? Middle of the page under discussion. The MOU includes the following. Kind of like what we do when you go through and we make sure everybody's title is to what they're doing?
Yeah, so this is something to do with their table of org. I have not seen their table of org, but it very well could be something as simple as perhaps taking a traditional 5-step system and maybe making it a 7 or a 10-step system. I don't know specifically, but that was the information that was shared with me from the department.
Okay, thank you. I'll invite a motion for this item.
Move to adopt staff recommendation as to points 1 and 2 as presented on the agenda.
Second.
I have a first by Councilmember Godin, a second by Councilmember Irving. Councilmember Godin, comments on the pending motion?
I have none, thank you.
Councilmember Irving, comments?
Comments. Thank you very much.
Mayor Pro Tem Harriman,
I have
comments?
none.
And I have none. Madam Clerk, will you take the vote, please?
Councilmember Godam,
Yes.
Councilmember Irving, Mayor Pro Tem Harriman,
Yes.
Mayor Becerra.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
We've now taken action to approve staff's recommendation as presented on the agenda. Item 15, Cal ID Annual Service. Mr. Metzler, would you kindly introduce this item?
Thank you, Madam Mayor and members of the council. Our Sheriff's Department relies upon Cal ID system largely for real-time background information, fingerprinting is a component of it. And it's a network that's actually connected to and shared with law enforcement agencies throughout the entire state of California in real time. And so with that, this item is effectively just budgeting for the costs associated with the annual contractual relationship we have with Cal ID. And so with that, this item was authored by your police captain, Jerry Davenport. He or I are available for any questions or comments you might have.
Thank you, sir. Madam Clerk, would you please read the recommendation?
That the Honorable City Council adopt Resolution 25-078, amending the annual budget for fiscal year 2025-2026, approving an additional appropriation for Cal ID annual assessment services, and approve the payment of $163,078.36 to San Bernardino County Sheriff's Bureau of Administration for Cal ID annual assessment services.
Thank you, ma'am. Technical questions from council members. Mayor Pro Tem Harriman,
I have none.
Councilmember Irving.
I do have a question. I think I may know the answer, but I'm just curious if these are very important services. And they're usually included in the fiscal budget, correct? Is there a reason why they were not in this instance?
They usually are, and it was just an oversight that we just recently caught, and for some reason it wasn't incorporated. Likely having to do more so with just transitions we've seen between the organizations. We have put in some controls, new controls recently between City Hall and the Victorville Station to make sure that we're doing everything possible to avoid this from reoccurring.
Human error. Okay, got it. Thank you.
Councilmember Godin,
I have none, thank you.
and I have none. I'll invite a motion for this item. Motion to.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say move to adopt staff's recommendations.
I'll second.
Okay.
Comments on the pending motion, Councilmember Irving?
No, thank
I
you.
have none. Councilmember Godin,
I have none.
Mayor Pro Tem Harriman,
I have none.
Madam Clerk, will you take the vote?
Councilmember Godin,
Yes.
Councilmember Irving,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Harriman,
Yes.
Mayor Becerra.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
We've now taken action to approve staff's recommendation as presented on the agenda. Item 16, Southern California Edison easement on Mesa Street. Mr. Metzler, would you kindly introduce this item?
Thank you, Madam Mayor and members of the council. This item involves a single-family residential tract in the very southwest part of the community at Mesa and Mesa Linda Streets. It involves a number of tracts that total of about 550 lots. And in order for SoCal Edison, who's the local investor-owned utility providing distribution services to residents, in order for them to be able to do that, they require easements to be underlying the actual installation of lines to basically serve the tract. And so this item involves the granting of easements upon properties that are actually owned by the city. And so with that, upon approval, this will allow that tract development to proceed in being able to be served with electrical services. And so with that, this item has been authored by your city engineer, Mr. Freddie Bonilla, and he's available for any questions or comments you might have.
Madam Clerk, will you please read the recommendation?
That the Honorable City Council grant an exclusive utility easement to Southern California Edison on Assessor's Parcel Number 3136-45108, as described in the attached documents, and authorize the city manager to execute the easement on the city's behalf.
Thank you. At this time, we'll do technical questions from council members. Councilmember Godin,
I have none.
Councilmember Irving,
No questions, thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Harriman,
I have none.
and I have none. I'll invite a motion for this item.
Move to adopt staff recommendation as to points 1 and 2 is presented on the agenda.
Second.
I have a first by Councilmember Godin, a second by Councilmember Irving. Councilmember Godin, comments on the pending motion?
No comments, thank you, Mayor.
Councilmember Irving,
No comments, thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Harriman,
I have none.
and I have none. Madam Clerk, will you take the vote?
Councilmember Godam,
Yes.
Councilmember Irving,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Harriman,
Yes.
Mayor Becerra.
Yes,
Motion passes unanimously.
we've now taken action to approve staff's recommendation as presented on the agenda. Item 17, consideration of resolution number 25-079, accepting the unanimous approval of the property owner annexing the Raising Cane's development, yes, into the Community Facilities District number 2024-01, Annex Number 1. Mr. Metzler, would you kindly introduce this item?
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the council. This item is fairly new. It's the second that we've seen. First, that involves new commercial development. But as you'll recall, as a part of our strategic planning process and our strategic planning effort, we identified a number of goals and strategies. And among them, fiscal sustainability is one of the adopted goals for our city. And with that, one of the strategies identified to help achieve that goal was the formation of a community facilities district that effectively would be applied citywide, affecting all new development coming into the community. And it was done so in large part recognizing an analysis that was done, a very extensive analysis that was done that helped quantify the impact of new development and actually showing an impact to where new development effectively was not paying for itself and effectively being a contributor to the overall cost of the city. And so with that, the CFD was formed back in December of 2024. With the annexation of a residential tract in the northern part of the community. But it was done so basically to serve as a mitigation to the economic impacts caused by development. And so with that, under that goal, we're moving forward. We have been conditioning all new development through the planning process. And in this particular case, this is a new development that actually as a part of the planning process, obtain the same conditions that all new development are, being required to mitigate their long-term economic impacts, and the CFD effectively allows them to do that. And so to complete, in this case, Raising Cane's satisfaction of all of their planning conditions is why this item is being brought forward to invite them and actually annex them into the citywide CFD. And so with that, Freddie Bonilla is your city engineer, and he's available for any questions or comments you might have.
Thank you, sir. Madam Clerk, will you please read the recommendation?
That the Honorable City Council adopt Resolution Number 25-079 to accept the unanimous approval of the landowner and make the findings necessary to annex portions of parcel numbers 3106-20124, 0000, 3106-205, 2500000, and 3106-20127, 0000 to Community Facilities Districts number 2024-01 of the City of Victorville, municipal services, and to order the levy of special taxes to pay for municipal services and maintenances of certain facilities associated with the Raising Cane's development, annexation number 1.
Thank you, ma'am. Technical questions from council members. Mayor Pro Tem Harriman,
I don't have any, thank you.
Councilmember Godan,
I have none, thank you.
Councilmember Irvin,
No questions, thank you.
and I have none. I'll invite a motion for this item.
I move to approve staff recommendation.
Second.
I have a first by Mayor Pro Tem Harriman and a second by Councilmember Godan. Comments on the pending motion, Mayor Pro Tem Harriman,
I have none.
Councilwoman Godan,
I have none, thank you.
Councilmember Irvin,
No comments, thank you.
and I have none. Madam Clerk, will you take the vote?
Councilmember Godam,
Yes.
Councilmember Irving,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Harriman,
Yes.
Mayor Becerra.
Yes,
Motion passes unanimously.
we've now taken action to approve staff's recommendation as presented on the agenda. Item 18, rejection of all bids for sewer main lining project 2025, project number CC 26-018. Mr. Metzler, would you kindly introduce this item?
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the council. As you are aware, we do operate and maintain a large citywide sewer collection system, basically to receive all sewage from customers here in the city. And as a part of the overall operation and maintenance, we regularly inspect using a camera system to determine the condition of all of our pipes. And then, of course, from those inspections, we develop a scope of work necessary to make sure that we're doing everything possible to provide as much longevity to the use of that pipeline system that is underground. And so with that, this item particularly is resulting from a scope of work having been developed, comprising not only main lines, but also laterals to customers. And with that, we actually bid a scope of work. In this particular case, we bid a scope of work that yielded a bid price or bid prices from the competitive bid process at a cost much greater than what we budgeted. So effectively, we don't have the funds appropriated for this, and certainly believe it'd be more prudent to rescope the project, resize the scope so that we can actually have a competitive bid process within the budget that we've actually adopted. And so with that, the item has been authored by your city engineer, Mr. Freddie Bonilla, and he's available for any questions or comments you might have.
Thank you, sir. Madam Clerk, would you please read the recommendation?
That the Honorable City Council reject all bids received for the sewer mainlining project 2025 and authorize staff to reevaluate the scope and re-advertise the project.
Thank you, ma'am. Technical questions from council members. Councilmember Irving?
I don't have any questions. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Councilmember Godin?
I have none, thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Harriman?
Yeah, Keith, what were we, with the scope that they were given, what were we thinking it would come in at, or how much is it off?
Freddie, you want to talk about the engineer's estimate, if you have it handy?
Thank you, Mr. Messer. Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of council. The engineer's estimate was approximately $1.8 to $2 million. And we had hoped that by combining additional R&R work that we would get a really good competitive bid. Unfortunately, we got a bid that exceeded the available budget. And so our request is that the council authorize us to reject all bids, reevaluate the project. We'll sit down with our operations staff, determine what is priority, and advertise them in such a way that we will come back to you in a couple of months and award a new contract with what we can afford within the available project funding.
Thank you, sir.
I have none. I'll invite a motion for this item.
I move to approve staff recommendation.
Second.
I have a first by Mayor Pro Tem Harriman, a second by Councilman Godin. Mayor Pro Tem Harriman, comments on the pending motion?
I have none.
Councilman Godin?
I have none.
Councilwoman Irving?
No comments. Thank you.
And I have none. Madam Clerk, will you take the vote, please?
Councilmember Godin,
Yes.
Councilmember Irving,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Harriman,
Yes.
Mayor Becerra.
Yes,
Motion passes unanimously.
thank you. Item 19, discussion and possible action regarding the possibility of a general taxation and use tax measure. It is my item, but I'm going to go ahead to defer to Mr. Metzler on what we were hoping to hear from you today. Go ahead and take it over, Mr. Metzler.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and members of the council. At the last city council meeting, the city council voted to bring this item back for discussion, and the council's direction was fairly specific to bringing back a discussion item regarding a general transactions and use tax measure. And I say it that way to underscore general because there are other options available to the council when it comes to taxation. But certainly this staff report focus on a little bit more detail surrounding that, how it works. And so with that, you know, what I can share is that what's being discussed here is very similar to what was contemplated 5 years ago when the community supported Measure P. That also is a general transactions and use tax. We're actually going to report to you fairly soon, a 5-year report and update as to all the progress we've made. And it's been tremendous in terms of a resource to actually expand our level of service in all aspects of service to the community. But as we've been hugely successful in doing that, there are certainly other deficiencies that we have identified, and you certainly hear regularly and routinely from the public. And a lot of that is surrounding public infrastructure, the most notorious being roadways. And we as staff have shared with you information at least for 3 years now, and we do it every August when we give you a condition assessment update of your roadway system, and we also do our master planning our 5-year planning for roads in that same month. But we've shared with you a very detailed analysis that describes, excuse me, the condition of your roadway citywide. It also identifies the limited funding sources that you have available for roadway improvements. And I say limited because even though the amount is a meaningful amount of money, when you look at the network of roadways, we've been able to calculate very specifically that if we want to rehabilitate our existing roads, just our existing roads, we've been able to calculate how much is needed in present value dollars to be able to at least get our roadway system upgraded to an acceptable level. And I think the last report that we gave this last August was probably a present value of about $175 million plus or minus. And one of the things that we're also seeing is that year over year, that number is growing. And that number is growing because, again, the revenue that we do receive on an annual basis for roadway maintenance and improvement is just not enough to keep up with the age and the deterioration of a road, not to mention the addition to our roadway system as we continue to grow and add more roads. And that's just one example. I think the more recent example that the council has become familiar with in terms of infrastructural need has certainly been a part of the deliberations recently involving the design of not only the Civic Plaza, but the actual new police station, almost tripling that in size. And as we did, approve Measure P, and we've been very good at reinvesting those monies into the community, there's a lot of things that Measure P just was not enough to do. And as an example, Measure P very clearly contemplated the expansion of public safety, and we define public safety as police code, animal control, and fire. But using police as the example, we've been successful in adding boots on the ground to the local force to the point where we're at right now, where we can't add any more bodies to the staffing structure because we don't have anywhere to put them. And so the one issue that we're dealing with right now, certainly as we're in the construction drawing phase for the police station, is if you were asking me to come up with a funding plan to actually construct it, we've got a serious challenge there. And that's just one project. As a city that's in growth, and now that we've taken control back of the fire department, we have the best opportunity to better influence our service response on the fire side. It's not known yet exactly where our next station or stations are going to be, but we certainly believe there is going to be a need to expand there as well. And I can continue to go on and on. And so one of the reasons why this is before you and why staff has been advising you of the fiscal constraint, notwithstanding the fact that we have Measure P and we have good reserves, is because we as staff also remember what life was like before Measure P, to the point where we shared with the council then that the deficit spending, just the nature of the revenue versus expenditure structure local agencies in California have, the cost of the service increases much faster than the revenue. And that hasn't changed even after Measure P. And so the point with that is your staff has been identifying certainly needs of this city in large response due to the complaint, but also recognizing just the imbalance of how the revenue and expense structure is for local agencies. Certainly advising that this council consider tackling and trying to get ahead of some of those money constraints that are going to reinvent themselves if we don't get ahead of it. And so with that, I'll yield back to you, Madam Mayor and Council, but this is an item that was envisioned to help us tackle a number of additional infrastructure needs that this community's been asking for.
Thank you, sir. Madam Clerk, would you please read the recommendation?
Any action is at the discretion of your honorable city council.
Thank you, ma'am. Technical questions from city council members? Councilmember Godin?
I've already had my questions answered. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Irving?
Well, I've had questions answered, but I guess, I don't guess. I think, Mr. Messler, you and the staff, you guys have made it abundantly clear that we're growing. And as we grow, the need for additional, in other words, we need to expand our services. And so that's abundantly clear. Let me ask you a question. If the council decides or expresses an interest in moving forward with the exploration of putting about a measure on the ballot for consideration, voter consideration in November, what are the next steps?
Well, certainly, I would envision the next steps to be directed upon by this council, but I can certainly envision them doing perhaps similar to what we did the last go around. You know, one thing that we did before we decided as a city to proceed with Measure P is we actually put together a plan. And we referred to the plan as the public safety plan back when we did Measure P. And it was a plan that was designed to identify what was needed if you accomplish your ultimate goal of being more proactive. That was one of the overarching goals in that plan. And so, you know, what I would suggest and envision seeing as a next step would be to come up with a plan so that you have something to point to, so that you have something to speak to, so that you have something that you can clearly communicate and share with the community, you know, what it is you're going to do with this funding source. And that would be a document that would look at, you know, not only police stations and fire stations, but certainly we have massive needs on the water quality side of the house, and I would call that stormwater management as an example. And certainly, given the rain event, you know, if you were to follow some of our public works crews, you could see clearly where some of our deficiencies really are. I would, you know, envision it being a plan that spoke to all of those public infrastructural needs so that you had a tool. From there, then, you know, I certainly would envision bringing in some outside support to help with the community outreach, you know, the awareness, sharing, you know, of course, the same information that would be coming from that plan with the public. Do some polling, of course, so that you have a sense of where the public is on this matter. And I would say all of that being done certainly before the next real official action that I would believe is necessary, which is to adopt an ordinance. And so the final act by this council before it actually gets on a ballot would be for the council to adopt an actual ordinance that is the language that the voters would be voting on.
So we would direct you and staff to put together a plan. Perhaps we might call it the public infrastructure plan.
Yeah. Yes.
For our consideration, and then adopt it and move forward with adopting an ordinance.
Yes, I think that would be fair to everybody is as we've been talking about it and sharing a lot of the pieces of the puzzle together with you, let us demonstrate it clearly to you and to the public so that it is very, very clear as to the need.
Thank you, sir.
Mayor Pro Tem Harriman?
Yeah, and or comments, right?
No, questions.
Questions? Okay, I have no questions.
Mr. Metzger, you mentioned a couple of times of the CPI of our roadways, the conditions of it. All of this is public records, correct? Any citizen could call and say, you know, well, how much money do you need and why do you need it? This is a document not done by the city. This is an outside agency telling us what we need to do to
The pavement,
our roads.
I'm sorry, the pavement condition index, I believe it's all resultant from our internal inspections, and it's something, let me ask city engineer to speak to that. I know it's from our physical inspections, but the final report, I'm not sure.
Good evening, Mr. Messer. Again, good evening, Madam Mayor. Yes, so the pavement management report, we hire a consultant who comes out and actually does a physical inspection of all our roadways. We do it by 3 zones, and we do it every year. We do a third of the city. So it's a 5-year cycle where each and every road segment gets analyzed.
All right, thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Since this is my item, I'm going to take the liberty of making the motion. I move that the city manager be directed to begin taking the steps necessary to help us place a general transaction and use tax on the ballot for November 2026 election, and those steps taken include but not limited to the preparation of a plan that helps demonstrate the need for additional funding, retaining outside help with communication. What we name the plan, let's get through that first. That's my,
Oh, no, those are just hypothetical.
that is my motion.
I second your motion.
Thank you. Comments on the pending motion? I have none. Councilmember Irving?
No comments, thank you.
Councilmember Godin?
I have none.
Mayor Pro Tem Harriman?
Yeah, you pretty much answered it now, or should I say, I was gonna recommend having another presentation by our engineer for the public, so we just discussed that. So I just want the public to be as informed as possible, on the same page. We get, people out there asking questions. We need more people to come in to our meetings to ask questions, and that just doesn't happen. So if we could plan that for the future, that'd be great.
Madam Clerk, will you take the vote, please?
Councilmember Godin,
Yes.
Councilmember Irving,
Yes,
Mayor Pro Tem Harriman,
Yes.
Mayor Becerra.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
We've now taken action to approve City Council recommendation to staff. Item 20, appointment of the vacant seat on the Victorville Planning Commission. Mr. Metzler, can you take this item, please?
Thank you, Madam Mayor and members of the council. Yes, this item has been brought back as it relates to a vacant seat on our planning commission. You'll recall that Chairman Kurth, back in September, due to relocating his residence outside of the city, resigned his seat after many, many years, having served on the Victorville Planning Commission. And as you know, but maybe for the benefit of the public, the Planning Commission is an appointed body by this council that is responsible for focusing on land use related matters, working very closely with our planning department, and considering basically not only the land use planning for Victorville, the general planning, all of the zoning related matters, but certainly is on the forefront of seeing and considering for approval all new development within the city. So fairly involved responsibility, and only in matters that are either appealed or items that require, such as ordinance approved by this council, they're given authority to be the deciding body when it comes to land use related matters. And so with that, fairly important, I think, is the point that I'm getting at. And so with that, this item has been placed so that we can consider the appointment to that body. The item has been authored by your city clerk, and she or I are available for any questions or comments you might have.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, would you please read the recommendation?
That your honorable city council consider appointing Terrence Stone to the Victorville Planning Commission as recommended by Mayor Becerra.
Thank you, ma'am. At this time, we're going to do questions from council members. Mr. Metzler, if it's okay with you, can Mr. Stone come to the dais?
Sure.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and start with Councilmember Irving.
good evening. I don't have any questions, Madam Mayor, thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Godin.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Good evening, Mr. Stone. How are you?
I'm blessed. How you doing?
Good. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for sending your resume over. I did have an opportunity to look over it extensively. Thank you so much for all of your help and your commitment to the youth in our communities. It's impressive, the things that you have done and the things that you have been involved in. Youth is something that's very close to my heart, and so I'm very grateful to all that you have done for the youth in our community. I did have one question for you, and I'm hoping you can clarify. As I was going through your professional affiliations list, one of the things that I look for is, like Mr. Metzler just mentioned, that the planning commissioner, he or she helps shape the future and layout and the feel of a community through land use decisions. And so looking through your background, I did have a question. Would you be able to clarify for me what the Cooperative Economic Empowerment Movement Board did and what your role was?
Thank you. That board, better known as SEAM, we worked on trying to figure out how to put it in words, basically. But we worked on like economic development throughout San Bernardino County, and so with that, we met with the county.
I'm sorry, Mr. Stone, can you speak directly into the microphone?
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh,
That's
okay.
better.
All right. All right. Thank you. But we worked on economic development throughout San Bernardino County, working directly with the county as well, though, too, and working on just economic development, basically.
Were there any particular projects that came out of that?
Yeah, one particular project was the Equity Element Group through San Bernardino County. So San Bernardino County has, I think, 13 element groups, and through that also was the Equity Element Group as well.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you very much again. Thank you for being here tonight and for your interest.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Harriman?
Yeah, I would also like to say that that's a pretty good resume there. Anyways, I just have a couple questions. In creating land use code, do you favor regulations that are strict with little to no room for interpretation, or flexible with room for interpretation?
I think that depends on the situation as well, though, too. So flexibility is good, but also staying within the guidelines of what we're supposed to be doing. So I always try to look at that. What are the guidelines, what are we supposed to be doing, and how can whatever we're deciding to do be in a right frame and push the city forward?
And what do you view as being the duties of a planning commissioner?
I think the duties of the planning commission is working with the city and figuring out just land usage and things like that.
And what do you see as the role of a planning commissioner member?
A planning commission member is to sit with the rest of the members to help to figure out land usage and things of that nature.
And can you tell us a little bit why you're interested in serving on the planning commission?
I think one is this: I just want to serve my community. I've been here for half a decade. I'm a homeowner, so you stuck with me for another 35, 40 years within that as well, though, too. But I just really want to serve my community, the city of Victorville.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
At this time, I'll make a motion to approve Terrence Stone for the Planning Commission. Do I have a second?
Second.
Comments on the pending motion? I have none. Councilmember Irving?
No comments, thank you.
Councilmember Godam?
I have none.
Mayor Pro Tem Harriman?
I have none.
Madam Clerk, will you take the vote?
Councilmember Godam,
No.
Councilmember Irving,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Harriman,
No.
Mayor Becerra.
Yes.
Tie vote, motion fails.
We've taken action that denied Mr. Stone for Planning Commission. Item 21, City Manager reports. Mr. Metzler, will you take this?
Thank you, Madam Mayor and members of the council. We do have just a couple of items to report on the environmental program side. The city of Victorville hosted its third and final free dump day of the year on November 8th. In total, we processed 493 vehicles that participated in the event, and altogether our community disposed of 108 tons of material. Of that, 37 tons were diverted from the landfill through recycling of scrap metal, concrete, mattresses, green waste, and recyclables, such as paper and cardboard. Big thanks to everyone who took advantage of these free dump days and for helping keep our community clean. On the engineering side of the house, work on the Village Drive sidewalk project is ongoing. Our contractor has started pouring concrete for the new sidewalk along the northbound Village Drive between Tawny Ridge Lane and Puesta del Sol Drive. That project is progressing well, and it's anticipated to be completed by the end of this month. That is all I have as far as updates. I do have the project of interest list, which I'll forward to you via email, and it'll give you a little bit more information of all the projects that are actually going through the development process here with the city. That's all I have, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Item 22, discussion and possible action regarding upcoming agenda items from our council members. Councilmember Godin,
I have none.
Councilmember Irving,
I don't have anything, thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Harriman,
I have none.
and I have none. Item 23, reports from council members. Councilmember Godin,
I have nothing to report.
Councilmember Irving,
I have nothing to report, thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Harriman,
Yeah, I want to give kudos to Mrs. Jones. The parade was a big success. I noticed this year the Veterans Parade even more people than last year, and I thought last year was good. So the parade was a great parade. A lot of happy people out there. I had the honor of sitting in the fire station with my hand on the button, and got to play some music with the horn. So the Veterans Parade was very good. Thank you, Mrs. Jones. You do all your hard work. We so appreciate it. That's all I have.
he read my notes, okay? I'd like to remind everybody, December 6th is our Christmas parade. And I'm sorry, would you help me with the title of it, Mrs. Davidson? And only because she sits on the Kiwanis, right?
I do, along with Mr. Camargo. It is, I believe, the 76th annual Kiwanis Children's Christmas Parade.
Okay, thank you very much. It's December 6th at 10 o'clock, correct? Down 7th Street.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And I'd also like to thank Silverado High School's government class that has been visiting us the last 3 council member meetings. They've tried to stay in the background and everything. Welcome, ladies. I have nothing else. The time is 6:45 and this meeting's adjourned.